All right then, so let's dive into it very quickly. So welcome to today's session on supply and demand. Although this is my screen, I don't literally trade many pairs. I just trade GBP and gold. I recently added AUD USD, but today I don't think. Let me just get a new pair to use. Let me add a new pair. Let's take let's take NZD. Just to explain supply and demand. All right, then this is NZD USD. So welcome to this session, everyone, on supply and demand. And as I said the other day, I was trying to explain supply and demand, which I told you all that supply and demand is just basically where buy and sell orders are yeah, where buyers and sellers are willing to take their position. Yeah, or is a possible base zone or where we want to buy. So quickly today we'll be diving into the infographics and I'll be attaching it with what's it called? I'll be joining it together with market structure. Yeah, I'll be joining it together with market structure. So quickly, so quickly, I'll be starting with market structure. When I was explaining market structure, I was like, we have in an uptrend, we have series of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, lows, highs, like just something of this nature, yeah. And now when we have these higher highs and lows, we are in an uptrend. You just see that price just comes to tap on a point, yeah, and move up. Yeah, price comes down again, tap on that zone again. Now that particular place that price is tapping on, what is that particular place that price is tapping on? What is that zone that price is tapping on? Those are supply and demand zone. Same thing as in a downtrend. When we have a downtrend, we have something of this nature where price is just moving. Yeah, like this. We have price moving, price moving. Yeah, something of this nature. Now this is what we call what? This is what we call a supply zone. Yeah, we have price moving. Yeah, those are supply zones. Now quickly we'll be diving into the charts. But before I dive into the charts, I want to explain more on this demand and supply. Now you would understand that when price is moving, right? When price is moving, tapping on demand and supply zone. Now it's not just that any place in the market that is where we get to have this demand or supply zones. Now, in conjunction with it, when I explained support and resistance, I said we have something of this nature, whereby we have, let's take for example, we have the upper part is the resistance, and we have price came into this point, tap into this resistance zone, came down again. Now, when price comes down, we understand that a lot of people would want to what? Sell from this zone again, which is what the resistance. But when you pay close attention to it, you would understand that price might not come into this particular resistance again. Price might just come close to it and what? And do something of this nature and sell down again. Now, we have a lot of sellers at this point, people willing to take positions at this point, this resistance level. But price did not get back to that place. And that is where we have what we call demand and supply. And in the previous session, I was explaining to you all that what demand and supply is a more advanced or a bit, what's it called? A bit professional way of explaining support and resistance. Now we understand that support and resistance, when we talk about support and resistance, it's something very static. It's just at a point. We have support downward, we have resistance at the up. But now demand and supply, it's something that is not static. It's something that it's what? It's more of like an order flow. It's more of like a series of what? Arrangements arrangement. Now at this point again, we have people that will be looking to what? To sell at this what? Resistance. But now price will not come to that resistance. Price will just do something like this. Come this way. Tap into it again. And do what? And sell down again. Now if you are following up, what can you see? What am I adding up? I'm adding up the concept of what? Market structure. And what did I say is market structure? I said is what? How the market moves, understanding how the market moves. Now, if you are just talking about support and resistance, you would understand that support and resistance is just telling us that what? Price is what? Static, is not moving. And if price is static, how would you be able to make money? That means if you are talking about support and resistance, that means you just have price coming into this point, tap into this. It will go up, tap into this again, come down, tap into this. It does not make any sense. And that is where we have the concept of what? Demand and supply. Change in what? Change in state of delivery. Now, price can't keep what? Roaming about in a point. Now, price have to what? Respect structure. If price is in a downtrend, we keep what? We keep moving in a downward manner. And if price is in an uptrend, we move in a what? In an uptrend. Now, when we have a downtrend, what do you expect? Series of what? Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower low, lower high, lower low. And this is what? This is a concept of what? Supply zone, supply zone. I'm coming, let me actually label it for us to see. Coming. Supply. Supply. I'm coming. This has to be inside center. This also inside center. All right. So this is what? Supply. Now, if I should dive into my chart, you see what I'm trying to what I am trying to to explain to you. Now you can see that price, this particular pair is in a what? Is in a downtrend. When you apply your what? See your trend line. See, price is in a what? Is in a downtrend. Look at this. Price is moving in a what? In a downward manners, right? Now, if you want to pay attention to this, look at what is going on here. Now, you would actually call this what? You will call this point, the whole of this point. Let's pick the whole of this point. You will call the whole of this point a resistance, right? But now look at this. When everybody is waiting for price to keep bouncing on this blue zone or in this blue box, it does not make sense. Now you can see that is where market structure comes in, then demand and supply comes in. Now when we talk about demand and supply, you can see what happened here. Price came down, tap on this zone, created a low, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. You can see how it's moving. You can see how this literally moves. You can see price does not stay at a zone. Price does not stay at one side. Now, as we are talking about what was it called? As we are talking about supply and demand, We also would be talking about what other blocks in the next session, because now if we are just talking about demand and supply at some point, you'll be asking yourself that okay, now that we call all these points coming, now that we call all these particular points I marked supply, where is the particular point that price is tapping on at that point that is giving us what a supply, or price will just run into any candle or anything? What is that particular thing that is what that is at this point coming? What is that particular thing that is at this point that price is what price is tapping on at this point and dropping? You would want to question that. That is when we talk about other blocks. Now remember when we were talking about candlestick patterns and we were talking about bullish engulfing and bearish engulfing. You understand what we talk about when we said we have um, a bearish engulfing or a bullish engulfing. And I said when we have these engulfing candles, what happens? What happens if we have a bullish engulfing candle or a bearish engulfing? When we have a bearish engulfing, what happens? Price automatically does what? Falls down, right? When we have a bearish engulfing. Now, when we have a bullish engulfing, price automatically what? Move up. That is bullish and bearish engulfing. Now, when that bullish and bearish engulfing has served its purpose, it automatically forms what? Other blocks. There's what we call other blocks, but I won't be explaining it on today's session. So this is an example of what? Supply. Now, when we are talking about demand, demand is just the opposite of it. When we have something of this nature, yeah, we have something of this. This is where we have demand. Yeah, demand. Now, in the previous session also, I was explaining on the live session, and I said what? I said when we are talking about demand and supply, we are also interacting the concept of what? Support and resistance to it. Now, and I said when you have your support and resistance and you have a what? A supply or demand close to your support and resistance, what should you do? You should pick the support the what's it called? The supply or demand that is very close. Now let's take a look at this point. You would understand that at this point here we have what? This is a support zone, right? This is a support here, right? This is a support. And now you can see that this support is acting very perfectly, very perfectly. But now, if you are waiting for price to come and tap in on this blue box, what will happen? You will end up staying and waiting, but price will not come there. Now, see what happened at this point. See what happened at this point. Look at this demand. Now, look at where price started bouncing off from. When price started bouncing off from this point, can you see that it did not get what? It did not get to the down point here. It did not get to this what's it called? This support here. It's what? It tapped into what? It tapped into a demand. Now, where is the demand? This is it. And that is where the concept of what? Other blocks is being vetted. Though we won't be talking about other blocks tonight. We are just talking more of what? Demand and supply. And it's what? It's very simple. Now look at this too. So it's something very basic. And that is why when you are talking about what's it called? When you were, I think David was talking about missed trades or something. Now let me show you some of my trades. I actually missed quite good number of trades today, but I'm going to show you some of it and show you example of demand and supply. Here, I'm going to show you examples of demand and supplies. Okay, good. Now you see that on this trade, what I did was I just identified what my demand and supplies. Now what did I do? First things first, you can see this long straight line that I actually drew here. It's called what? It's called trend line support. You can see I just drew my trend line support. Now I identified what? The market structure. Price is literally what? In a downtrend. Price is in a what? Is in downtrend. Yeah. After I spotted that, what did I do? Sorry. I just had to do what? I still went ahead, identified my demand and supply zones. Then I went to a more lower time frame, which is what? The 4 hour time frame. On the 4 hour time frame, look at what is going on here. Now, same thing, the market structure. I still try to identify what? Look at this. One, two, higher high, higher low, higher high, low, high. Now, what happened with this trade? Now, let me show you how I took this trade for you to see very clearly. Look at this. I identified what? I identified my demand and supply zones. Very simple. But what? Price did not actually tag me in. Price left from somewhere of this point and moved. Same thing on GBP USD today because my phone was down. I was not paying attention to most of the trades today. I just set my orders down and most of them were missed. Now take a look at this. I had this around, I made this analysis at around 5 o'clock today, and when I came back around 7, this all what happened. Price was around this point when I did this. I just identified what my demand, and what, see, price came very close to it and is about to leave. I missed it. Now look at it. Look at what I did here. If that I was waiting, let me show you something. I identified basically what? Just my supports and what? Resistance. Now look at this point. These points that I identified, I'm coming, let me change it to a blue so you can all see it. Now this blue place I identified is what? Is more of what? A support, right? Now, but now if I am to follow just the support alone, would price actually come back down into the blue line? No. I had to apply what? The concept of what? Demand and supply. Because demand and supply is not something that is what? Static. Not like whatever you learned on support and resistance that you'd see just price static at its own. No. In supply and demand, you need to apply the concept of what? Market structure and see where the market is heading to, and then you flow with it. And that is just how what? That is how, what's it called? That is how this demand and supply works. But demand and supply does not really work complete if we don't talk about what? If we don't talk about the concept of what's it called? Order blocks. Now, when you understand the concept of order blocks, you understand what? More of supply and demand. Because these other blocks also, when we get to the other blocks, probably if we are having a session this week, I'll just jump into other blocks. Now, when we are talking about other blocks are where, as the name implies, other blocks is just where orders are being stacked, where buyers and sellers orders are stacked on. There are huge volumes at that particular point. Just like we said for supply and demand, that those are where institutions whatever thing are worth looking at to buy or sell. Same thing as other blocks. And now if you can look at this, you see that everywhere price is actually tapping on is what? Are other blocks, demand and supply. So this is just where I'll be wrapping it up tonight. I wouldn't want to make things very, very advanced. Let's just go with the basics of what our demand and supply that we explained tonight. So I would want to entertain just some questions on this particular aspect that we've discussed. So do I have questions?